So, I came across this MuggleNet article from a few weeks ago, which reported that Bertie Carvel, the new Cornelius Fudge, was talking about his role in the upcoming HBO series, and apparently said that he's approaching the show with an open mind, and whether he comes back after the first series will depend upon what the fans think. Now, he's sort of saying that he's not exactly a lifelong Harry Potter fan, and he will play it by ear regards anything after season 1. Now this is a big reveal. I don't know if he meant to say that or if he was confused or what, but as we know, Fudge does not appear in the first book at all. So I guess Bertie Carvel might have been confused about his role, but that does seem kind of unlikely. Like, he's a seasoned professional actor who's been in some massive shows. I'm sure he understands how these things work. So I'm thinking that maybe he has let slip some secret info that Fudge will be in the first season of the HBO Harry Potter series, which would be mega. Let's assume it's true. I see a few options. Option 1 could be a completely made up scene of Fudge in the Ministry of Magic, for instance, making a speech or something. This is a possibility. It would be a smart move to establish the character early on, as he of course plays a huge role later in the series. It would help build the world up for the viewer. It's the sort of thing that they used to do in Game of Thrones, like naming characters a few seasons before they appear or play a significant role so that their appearance doesn't come as a massive surprise, and it works. But they are supposed to be sticking loyally to the books, and that really wouldn't be sticking to the books. Option 2 then is that they sort of extend an existing scene from the book. My thoughts are the scene after Hagrid picks Harry up from the hut that the Dursleys are staying in with Harry at the start of the first book, when Hagrid tells Harry that he's a wizard. Hagrid and Harry leave the hut together on the little boat that the Dursleys had hired to get there, leaving the poor Dursleys in that little hut in the middle of the sea. I wonder how the Dursleys actually got back, by the way, without a boat. Anyway, that's their affair. Whilst Harry and Hagrid are on the little boat heading back to the mainland, Harry is sort of just chilling, presumably a little bit shocked and exhilarated by the new information that he is in fact a wizard, and Hagrid is chilling and reading the Daily Prophet. Whilst Hagrid is reading the Prophet, he tells Harry about the Ministry of Magic and actually mentions that Cornelius Fudge is the Ministry of Magic. So it's possible at this point that they show a little moving picture of Fudge in the paper making a speech or something. To be fair, it actually seems quite likely that they would do that, but it presumably wouldn't be a very big role for Bertie Carvel, so it would kind of feel a bit weird for him to say that he would wait to see what fans thought of his performance before committing to any more seasons based off like a 2-second scene. Doesn't really make sense. Which therefore brings me to option 3, which is my favourite option. Okay, so I am thinking maybe that they show in this season the first meeting of Fudge and the Muggle Prime Minister. Now I have spoke about this in a previous video, but basically in the 6th book, the first chapter is all about the relationship between Fudge and the Muggle Prime Minister. It basically consists of a bunch of flashbacks of all of their meetings over the years. So I'm thinking that they show the first meeting between the Muggle Prime Minister and Cornelius Fudge in the first season of this show. Now, this would make sense from a timeline perspective because Fudge became Minister for Magic a year or so before Harry starts at Hogwarts. So, they could be planning a scene where Fudge introduces himself to the Muggle Prime Minister and explains to him about the existence of the magical world. I actually think that this will be it, because presumably they're going to include this whole Muggle Prime Minister subplot, so why would they wait until the 6th season to introduce us to the Muggle Prime Minister and then show us a bunch of flashbacks over the years? Obviously that is how it goes down in the books, but they could just have it as a year-by-year thing where we see their meetings every season. For me, it makes more sense for them to do it this way. Also, it is still them sticking loyal to the books, they're just moving things around a bit. It will basically allow them to show us Cornelius Fudge early on, and also make the relationship between Fudge and the Muggle Prime Minister and their interactions feel a bit more real if we see them in every season. I'm praying that this is what they do and Bertie Carvel isn't just confused. That chapter in the Half-Blood Prince book is one of my favourites, and it was of course completely axed from the films. If they did do it, then the timeline would probably make sense for the Muggle Prime Minister to be John Major. So who knows, maybe they'll even go with that and make it clear that the Prime Minister is actually John Major. It would be a fun way to firmly establish the setting of the show in the early 90s. It would make the existence of the magical world feel more real to us as viewers, and this actually also ties in with the fact that there's been leaked photos of filming of scenes from the London Zoo that show us actors dressed in outfits that are typical of the 90s. So this all sort of lines up with them setting the show in 90s Britain. I am so excited. I hope that is what we get. It would be amazing. Anyway, let me know if you agree with me in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, drop it a like and subscribe to the channel for more.